this video is going to be more on the technical side. I'm going to just show you how I do things, and you may not agree with it, but we've been living in the camper for 3.5 years. We unhook and hook up almost daily to go from the back in our spot to the office area over here, and I unhook and I hook up every day. So these are things that I do to speed up my process, and other things that we do when we're boondocking. And since we're doing this full time, or if you want to go camping even once or twice or 3 times a year, it's much easier if you have everything in place to make your trip as smooth as possible without having to do extra stuff. One thing that I always keep on the end of my sewer hose that exits the camper or the RV is I have one of these. It's the end cap, and it has a garden hose attachment to it, and I just screw it on a quick connect. So right there's a quick connect. I put it on here. I always keep a dedicated gray water hose. And then I pull only the gray, not the black. I'm pretty sure this is not legal in California, but to be honest, I really don't give a shit. If you look up online and see how much the government drops in the ocean from big cities, raw sewage into the ocean, among tons of other things, I don't think a little bit of gray water going into Cheryl's plants are going to ruin the planet. Here are some other things that make our RV lifestyle much smoother and easier on a daily basis. Up there is our smoke detector, which is also a carbon monoxide detector. It's pretty straightforward what the smoke detector is going to detect, but the carbon monoxide detector detects propane that has been burnt. If you burn propane in a room that has no circulation, it can actually kill you. A couple times a year in the US, people do actually pass away in their RVs because if you do have propane burning, maybe they're using the stove for a heater and they don't have their roof vent going, it'll make you go into a deeper and deeper sleep till your heart and your breathing just stop. So it's very important to have a carbon monoxide detector, smoke detector, and a propane detector. The propane detector detects unburnt propane, so by mistake if you turn on your stove and there's propane going into the room, propane actually drops versus rises. That's why the propane detector is down by the ground. It detects unspent propane that can actually kill you, and it's hardwired to the camper so you cannot disconnect it. They last about 5 years. Another cool addition that I put in is this 12 volt only fridge. It doesn't use propane. It just uses 12 volt. When we plugged into electricity, we have a converter that converts it into 12 volt. This fridge has been running for about 3.5 years non-stop, mostly just off our solar. It is the same inside as the old fridge that we pulled out, 6 cubic feet on the inside, but the actual box is a lot smaller. So I just put another shelf up here for our computers. And then in this little narrow closet, I put a wine cabinet where Tammy keeps all her wine. This fridge is extremely efficient and barely uses any energy. A couple years ago, I installed this little device called the LevelMate Pro. As long as you put it in the RV, anywhere inside a closet, a shelf, a wall, it basically tells you how level your RV is. You connect it via Bluetooth to your phone app. Here it's telling me that my front driver and passenger sides of the vehicle are level, and that the back drivers and passenger sides I need to raise up 1/4 inch. You can also change it to a side view, so you can see all different views, and it's very helpful if you want to make your trailer or your RV level. So here are some other things I carry in my outdoor storage box. I always carry some leveling blocks, the garden hose quick connects. I got a bag here with all different types of garden hose connections and clamps. I keep 50 feet times 2 of extension cords. I have a whole bunch of different electrical adapters. a main garden hose, an extension that'll go to it, and they both have the quick connects already connected to it. And then this is my gray hose with a quick disconnect. And then also in the back of the truck, I always carry a bottle jack. I don't believe in the regular scissor jacks. Bottle jacks are always much better. I carry a pair of jumper cables and a nice tow rope. You never know when you need it. Inside here's the bottle jack. So something else that I always carry when we're going traveling is I carry garden hose quick disconnects. You can buy them on Amazon. You screw this on one end, you screw this on the other end, you pop them in. You don't have to be screwing when you're attaching a garden hose, you just use the quick connect. So for example, here's my water inlet pipe. It enters the RV here. There's a quick disconnect here. Here's the quick connect on the end of my garden hose. I have another one attached into the RV. Something else that we travel with is a splitter, because this one goes to the RV feeding the fresh water. This one we might want to fill a water bottle, wash our hands. Attached to here with quick disconnects also is our pressure regulator. It's adjustable. You should always use a pressure regulator for your water inlet and always attach it to the faucet, not to the RV. That way, if the city water pressure is too high, it may burst the pipes inside your RV. You might go to the lake for the day, all the pressure's turned on, and the pipes burst in your RV and the thing's flooding for a few hours. Pressure regulator brings down the water pressure that's coming in from the city, and it puts it at a more acceptable PSI that your RV was built for. Another important thing that we carry with us when we're going in our RV and traveling around is a couple of walkie-talkies. It'll save your marriage, because when you're backing into a spot at an RV park, it doesn't have to be a stressful situation. More than likely you're traveling with somebody other than yourself, so maybe your partner or friend. Have them get out, get on the walkie-talkie, not the cell phone, because in some areas you won't have reception on the cell phone, and get into the habit of talking about passenger and driver's side, not left and right, because the biggest argument between a husband and wife, I thought you were talking about my left. No, your left. Well, I'm facing the other way, whatever. So you talk about passenger side, which is on the passenger side. You talk about driver's side, which is on the driver's side. So even if you're backing up the RV, instead of saying right as you're coming back, you say passenger. It took us a while to get into that, but now we got it, right?
Yes, we do.
And also remember, anytime you're in an RV park, or pretty much anywhere, a truck stop, parking lot at a mall, anytime you have doubts that you might be hitting a solid object, stop the vehicle, put it in park, put your parking brake on, get out and see if you're going to bang something. It's a lot cheaper than actually banging something. And also, if you come to an RV park and you don't have anyone to spot you or give you directions, every RV park I've been to, people are more than willing to give you a hand or give you a spot. It just makes for a lot less stressful situation than trying to do it by yourself. Black tanks and gray tanks is, even though it's a sealed system, it has to have a way to vent, because if you're going to put in liquids and solids into an empty tank, the air has to have somewhere to go as the level comes up. And also, if it's a hot day, it lets off gases, it expands, it has to have a way to let off the gases. So on the roof of most RVs is a venting hose or a venting tube, and sometimes there might be bees or wasps or spiders that go up in there and set up a nest. So what you can do maybe once or twice a season, you get up on your roof, spray a garden hose of water down the vent tube. All it does is land into the tank in the bottom, clearing out any blockages that may be there. So those of you that are not familiar with a trap under a sink, the water goes down the sink, goes down this pipe and into the holding tank. But because there's a U-shape here, water sits in this U-shape at about this level, making an airtight seal so that odor cannot come from the gray tank up into the room. Another way to eliminate odors in the bathroom is when you flush, fill it up with a bunch of solids, but a lot more liquid. And when you do flush it fast. That way there's less time that the odor and liquid from the black tank gets exposed to the bathroom. Another problem is if you have an extraction fan, it'll actually pull air from the black tank up into the room. So when you're flushing, it's best to turn the fan off. So it's basically a sealed system if you're doing things right. So this is the end of the sewer hose. It should screw in here. So it screws in, now it's fixed. Now you take this and it attaches to that. Now that's fixed, you got an airtight seal. You have an airtight seal over there, so you have a closed system. Basically what I'm going to do over here is pretty much, it's an extreme situation. My camper is much higher than most RVs or trailers. I'm making it go over this log to show you that it does flow uphill. And those little step down things that make the sewer hose go down gradually, to me that's a waste of time. Just extra crap you got to bring along and extra crap to set up. So earlier on I filled the gray tank when we showered, and then I filled the black tank with just fresh clean water, some biodegradable blue dye, and a whole roll of toilet paper. I'm going to pull the black tank and I'm going to show you how or simulated flows uphill. Here we go. See the blue? I'm simulating leaving the campground at the end of a weekend of camping. You had your black tank closed, you had your gray tank open. Now it's time to leave. You close your gray, you fill the gray up, you pull the black. Now the black's finished. A bit of toilet paper in there. You can hear it running a little bit, but it's pretty much done. So we're going to close the black. Now we're going to open the gray. The gray is going to clean out all the black water that's in the pipe. Let's see if there's any more blue dye in there. Blue dye is simulating the black water. And really there's nothing. That's all gray water. All right, let's talk power adapters. We travel in our camper full time, and even if you go part time, it's a good idea to keep the 4 basic connections that you could encounter a problem, because what comes out of your RV might not be the same connection that's at the RV park. So it's better to come prepared. At least once or twice a week somebody shows up here and the plug that's coming out of their RV does not work with the plug or the receiver plug that's at the RV park. So instead of driving miles looking for a hardware store, go on Amazon, buy the 4 basic connections. If you need a link to the Amazon connections, just let me know in the comments and I will send you a link. Let's pretend, just for demonstration purposes, the Audi we'll call the male and the Innie we'll call the female. The first adapter is a female 30 amp to a male regular wall outlet plug. Now this one's the opposite. You got a male 30 amp and a female wall outlet. So these two are basically opposites. Now the next one I have is a 30 amp female and a 50 amp male. This one is a 50 amp female and a 30 amp male. So these two are opposites. Another good thing to carry in your RV is a surge protector. I've never used one ever. I do carry it in my RV and I get lazy to hook it up, but it's a good thing to use. When we were traveling south in Mexico last winter, I did plug into an RV park on our way south, and a whole bunch of white smoke started coming out of my electrical box, and basically the RV park was wired wrong and it fried my converter. The converter is the electrical device that steps down from regular electricity to 12 volts to charge my batteries. Earlier on in the video I was talking about pressure relief valves. So this is just a basic one without the dial. That's not adjustable, but you plug in one end to the faucet and then you continue with your garden hose, plug it into the RV. It steps down the water pressure coming into your RV, which might blow the pipes if you don't use one of these.
We hope you liked the video. It was very informative. Remember to like and subscribe so that you can get your next favorite spot in our park. And
remember that 10 o'clock is quiet time.